Jake, here's some feedback for the ADVERT project. Good job on this project, mate. Really good quality work, and you're really taking pride in the way you presented your work on WordPress as well. So thank you for your perseverance and dedication and focus throughout this 6-week project. Your first project of 6 this academic year, and you've impressed throughout. Actually, all of your teachers have commented on how professional, mature, and on it you are. So yeah, it's want you to know it's appreciated and noted. So thank you. This is what we use to help us assess. Now, for the first 5 of the 6 projects, it's fail or pass. And if you don't quite get the criteria, you haven't got the pass yet, then we help you to do so. In the final projects, the merit and distinction criteria, pass, merit and distinction, for the final major project will be in play. But for the first 5 projects, it's simply pass or fail. I'm looking in particular at the research, planning and production, practical skills and evaluation here. This is my reference point in terms of your competence. So let's go through, shall we? Here's the criteria in the actual brief. I've put some notes here for myself to help me cross-reference to what evidence I've asked you to create to hit each of the criteria on the left-hand side, which I'll keep coming back to throughout this vlog feedback. So let's have a look, shall we? Your blog, jakefennellblog.wordpress.com. Nice simplistic layout, easy for me to navigate. You might want to delete that first one there, generally begins, not really needed. And you might want to think about embedding LinkedIn here as well as your Twitter. Well done for doing that already. Good for putting the ADVERT projects in here as well as the professional projects. Good to see those categories. And yes, maybe we can judge this up a little bit with a nicer theme, but for now, it's served you well in terms of housing this wonderful evidence. So we start with the mind map. Nice detailed post here. You can embed mind maps sometimes using fixbubble.us, is it? Yeah, that way it's more dynamic and you can zoom in future. But we learned about embed codes after doing this, so I understand this may be a static JPEG for that reason, but the embed code will be nicer in future. That way you can zoom into it and edit it as well. Let's have a look here. Yeah, good elaboration, good idea generation. I see your process in terms of ideas and how they connect in terms of locations, dress code, props, and how these then spiraled and grew into the actual finished project itself. Now, the finished project itself I'll come on to shortly. Let's go to the rationale with an E at the end, please, Jake. So please adjust that with an E at the end, as it is here. You've managed to justify and outline your idea here, which I think really tightened up your rough idea into something more coherent, more cogent, more professional, more organized, give it more structure. Create emotion so you've got a hyperlink here in the middle of this word here, emotion. If you can just edit that for me, Jake, I think that's an error in terms of the construction of that post. That would be really useful. But certainly you outlined the impact and justification there of the rationale really well. So let's go to the next post, which is, I believe, the primary research. Now, I really like what you've done here in terms of taking the findings from your 13 responses and analysing them, deconstructing and taking what was useful, what was relevant, what you have learnt from that, and how it will inform your idea. I'd like to see perhaps more detail, elaborating on what this means, and I'd like to see more responses, really. If we would have tweeted it on certain hashtags or posted it in forums of horror fans, we might have got more detailed responses. But your project was informed by these ideas, and there is analysis taking place here throughout. Very good. Using the data to inform the idea. I like that. Secondary research. Yeah, this is interesting in terms of between the gender, between age groups. And you referenced the BFI site here as well as to what was useful in terms of defining your project. I'd like to see perhaps further elaboration in terms of what horror films from the 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties informed your idea in terms of a mood board, in terms of little analyses of scenes. Your mise-en-scène work here would have been useful to see that embedded here, potentially, to actually look at secondary resources in terms of existing scenes, existing trailers, and picking them apart as a reference point to push you towards that professional level. That would have been quite nice to see. As is, this is perfectly fine. It's simply a case of elevating your work to that next level, Jake. You've posted all your sound files on YouTube, which is perfectly fine. In future, you can use SoundCloud and embed them as an audio MP3 player in your WordPress. YouTube's perfectly fine now. So in your updates, you speak really well. You've got a really good voice, Jake. And you communicate clearly in an articulate, well-enunciated voice, detailing the project. And you grow in confidence as these progress as well. It's really interesting to hear. Because you're very conscious of not wanting to sort of stamp on anybody else's ideas, Jade's ideas, for example, but you provide a natural leadership, I feel, in this project. And I feel like throughout your career, you may find yourself becoming an elected leader of a project, of a team, due to your sort of unpretentious, clear thinking, focused approach. You led this project well, Jake, is what I'm trying to say. The Bully short film evaluation is really good here in terms of you reflecting on your work. I'd like to have seen the film embedded potentially in the actual same post. Would have been quite nice and neat, but what we've done here is you've actually outlined and showed an interesting idea, developed your camera work, your directing skills, and certainly your editing skills, as evidenced here by the print screens of your quite intricate timeline of your advert projects. You really went beyond the minimum, I feel, and actually started to be quite creative as the projects went on. The GIFs are cool. That's really nice. Combining your Photoshop skills with your video editing skills here to create quite startling image of young Jade. Really good. I think you're a decent actor, actually, Jake. Very good. Yeah, a whole series of GIFs here. Fantastic. Yeah, I think this shows real imagination. This is transcending and going beyond the bare minimum expectations of the brief and showing more flair, more creativity, more imagination. To go back to what I use to assess the work here, if you go to the practical skills, you've gone beyond adequate range of processes and competency, the pass. You started to approach the merits here with consistent and appropriate processes, skills and knowledge, extending and developing creative solutions here. Next level would be in-depth understanding of aesthetic awareness and visual styles and branding and technical competency, and using professional equipment and making it look at near cinematic level. We'll get there. Yeah, it gives a fantastic, excellent work, Jake. The action plan, which you've embedded here. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble accessing it at home at the moment, but that's my fault, not yours. You outline and detail your plan as a group. Would have liked to have seen more detail, perhaps, and as a more sort of dynamic spreadsheet might have been quite good. But you can certainly see through the version history how it developed and grew each week and was a flexible, agile way to organise and plan your time, and adapting to when Jade wasn't there and adapting the idea as you proceeded as well. It showed real clear thinking, real mature professional project management, which is again why I mentioned about you having that natural leadership flair. I think you do think clearly about what you need to do, and you're very realistic and organised in your process as a creative. The trailer itself, I like. Conventional, yeah. Well executed, competent, technically relatively strong. Some of the continuity between some of the edits doesn't flow as well as it could do in terms of the action match edits. It's a bit clunky in a couple of places, but I feel for the most part it's a strong trailer. It's nice to see the gender reversal as well. It's quite unusual. Good that you cut away from you smiling there. Well done for listening to the formative feedback in the lesson, because you started to grin there. Yeah, it's like a 70s exploitation sort of for the font. I'm not too sure about at the end there. It looks a little bit cheap, I think there. The Stalker font looks cool, but this here looks too generic, too off the shelf and conventional. Yeah, the beats and rhythms of it are exactly what you'd expect. In terms of pushing it towards that next level, again, referring back to our merit distinction level here, being aware of the genre conventions and the aesthetic, the visual style, the look, the feel of classic horror, and perhaps being more aware of different genres as well, and be able to be a bit more innovative and surprising and different and abstract and artistic, and a bit more of your fingerprints, your personality embedded onto it, rather than relying on the tropes and the cliches and the conventions. But that's just to push you forward to that distinction level for the final major project, something to be conscious of. As it stands, is certainly adequate. The processes you're showing is certainly a consistent and appropriate application of these processes, skills, and knowledge. So I'm really happy with this work, Jake, is what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, the poster image is fantastic as well. Good use of the technical competence of the camera here to highlight the foreground. Yeah, show real dominance here with the background image here. This is a startling image. The font I'm not too sure about here. Again, I just think that not settling on the first font you find is something that's really important in future projects. Now, we scrutinise why that font, why that angle, why that size, why not italicized. Really think about these things, compare to professional industry standard examples, and measure yourself against those, Jake. That's what we need to be pushing towards. It's good. Nice little analysis as well here. Description about the connotations and representation of the red here as well. Again, the font I'm not too sure about here. I think it undermines the integrity and the professionalism of the work. Good discussion about the aspect ratio there as well. I like those little reflections you do. Radio advert's good. I like radio advert. Yeah, it works really well. Again, your voiceover works really well. It's tight 24 seconds, sorry. Advertising the idea, convincing the audience to take action with regards to the film that's coming soon. Sound design's good. The sort of scream wail noise at the end is interesting choice, quite creative. Yeah, I think it's all of a piece, all of the theme and tone and aesthetic that you built for Stalker. It all feels like it belongs to the brand, which is good. Yeah, good logic X evidence here as well. Going into the print screens of the logic, yeah, it's nice to see the timeline here to show the intricacies of what you're doing. Getting a habit of doing that's really nice to see. Using QuickTime Recorder to capture the screen while you're doing it would be even better. I'll show you how to do that another time. Portfolio reflection for 46 seconds is too minimal, I would say, Jake. So we need to expand upon this, but we'll go into that in a moment. So, in conclusion, I'm really, really happy with this, Jake, as should you be. Let's look at the criteria here for the ADVERT project. So, for 1.1, applying understanding of a range of processes to support media activities. I feel like the audio, video, and image work here is of a good standard. And I feel that you've certainly applied the understanding of the different skills we've taught you in class to create work that is certainly at the very least competent and approaching something of a technical quality that is flirting with those professional levels that I've been alluding to throughout the feedback. I feel that you've used the skills safely, and I feel that you've worked well as part of a team, using the equipment, being respectful and organised with the industry standard equipment and software in an appropriate professional manner. For 2.1, critically comparing a range of communication methods to convey meaning in creative media production. So in terms of the reflection here, I'm not quite happy that we've achieved that yet. So what I want you to do here is to add a reflection post, maybe blog or written, detailing how effective the work is. Talk to people beyond the class, get input from friends and family as to whether they think is it cliched, is it innovative, is it good, is it effective, does it look like student work, does it look like professional work, why, how can you improve it? Detailing how effective the work is, e.g. how professional, industry ready it is. Need more detail here. Give me a 46-second reflection at the end, that's too small. I need more detail. You've reflected well throughout the project, but I want to see that end post comparing different methods of image, video, audio. How did they go? How would you improve them? More detail, Jake. Convey meaning. Were they effective? For 1.1 for Unit 2, critically compare a range of research tools, methods, and skills. Now, I feel like in your rationale, your action plan, your primary and secondary research, your idea generation, I feel like you have managed to critically compare and talk about how effective they were in terms of informing your idea. But what I'm going to ask you to do, because the evaluating and justifying ideas, I feel like I need a bit more. Alright, so I want you for this ties in here. So the reflective post will help with this here. I want to see you quickly compare the research as well. Compare research methods. How could you get more information later in future? E.g. interviews, focus group, to show the first teaser, maybe to get some feedback, then inform what you do next. Analysing industry examples. A bit more, I feel, Jake. 2.1, critically compare a range of primary and secondary sources. I feel like you have achieved this. Now, when I say that, I'm relating this to the analysis in between the posts, the print screens in particular, on your blog, detailing why that's useful, what you're going to take from that, why this is a good response, why the 37.5% said this, and how that helps you. You're reflecting the whole time and comparing this range of sources. So I'm happy to award that criteria. In terms of applying design and research tools to record and interpret information and develop your ideas, I feel this has also been achieved, because you can see this tie together throughout your work. You see how your research has informed your idea, and you've reflected throughout in these podcasts, which I think is really effective. Seeing it all weave together like this. In terms of evaluating the effectiveness of design and research tools and skills to develop ideas, I've been too hasty in awarding that last one there. Apologies to do this. It must be difficult for me to see me do this, but I do feel we need a bit more evaluation here. Okay, so again, it's that reflective post. That's what I'm looking for, Jake. See that reflective post at the end. The 46 seconds is not enough. We will be there. Okay, at present that is not achieved. At present, this is achieved. So to summarise, really good work. Here's what we need to do just to tidy up the last few bits. I need to see that little reflection post, not a little, but a decent sized 200-300 as a minimum reflection post detailing how effective the work is and how you would improve upon the work. Also want to see you compare the research methods as well, how you can get more information and data in the future to inform your idea. Also want to see you add a reflection post for the 3.2 criteria for Unit 2 as well. How would you improve the work again? That reflection post will cover the remaining criteria because I feel it's enough evidence throughout the rest to award. I just want to push you to that next level. So I think you are more than capable. Okay, this is really strong work, and I think that you've started to approach some of the merit criteria already, which is really good to see. Okay, Jake, really well done. You have until the 16th of November to submit the reflection post as suggested. Okay, well done.